Welcome to SportsLumo's 50 greatest Olympic moments for India, folks. I am Siddharth Vishwanathan, Editor-in-Chief of SportsLumo, and in this special episode, I will be talking about a triumvirate, a trio of matches that changed not just hockey, but also the relationships between two nations. Born out of the brutality of partition, 1956 Olympics would be the crescendo of nationalism, tension, and electrifying moments. 1956 overall was a very volatile year, folks, for the world. The Suez Crisis that had resulted in Arab nations boycotting Israel, the Hungarian boycott of the Soviet Union, and the famous blood in the pool match, which saw Hungarians throwing a punch at the Russians. The Soviet Union had invaded Hungary in 1956 to ensure they did not go out of the Warsaw Pact. Hatred, hostility were at its peak between Hungary and the Soviet Union. But there was also hostility between two nations. One was born out of the brutality of partition, like I had mentioned. Pakistan, created on August 14, 1947, faced off against India in the 1956 Olympic final. At the Melbourne cricket ground, for the first time in history, the world witnessed a grand India versus Pakistan match. In this episode, I will focus about India's journey as well as the clash against Pakistan. Folks, Indian hockey was dominant in the 50s. They won in Helsinki in 1952. They had won the gold medal in 1948 for the first time as an independent nation. They would continue to dominate in 1956, but it would not be so straightforward against a Pakistan team that was hell-bent on humiliating them. The India hockey team had several great players: Leslie Claudius, Balbir Singh Sr, Udham Singh, and all. Dhyan Chand may have retired after 1936, but India hockey was in the great hands of Leslie Claudius and Balbir Singh Sr. India started their campaign on the ultimate note by beating Afghanistan 14-0. But in that match, there was one thing which worried India. Balbir Singh was injured and he could not play in the remaining games. India did not miss Balbir Singh's services. They beat the USA 16-0. They trounced Singapore 6-0. They made their way to the quarterfinal, to the knockout stages, and in the final, they were all set to play Pakistan at the Melbourne cricket ground. It is very important to note, folks, that India were also tense. They did not want to lose the final to Pakistan. They needed their key player. They needed Balbir Singh Sr, but he was not fit. Yet, just on the day of the final, Balbir Singh decided that he will play. He would not be his robust attacking self. He would be a decoy to create chances and ensure that India would confound Pakistan's defenses. In front of a hostile, packed Melbourne cricket ground, the India hockey team put up one of the greatest performances in their entire career. They defeated Pakistan, and the celebrations that followed were simply remarkable. Balbir Singh Sr, who was the flag bearer at the 1956 Olympics, spoke of the emotion, how proud he felt when the gold medal was being announced. The Indian national anthem was being played at the top step of the podium, and Pakistan was second best. It was an intense match, a lot of aggression, and in the end, India managed to win the first chapter in their three-part rivalry. Pakistan would end India's dominance in 1960 Rome, but India got one back by winning the 7th gold in 1964 Tokyo. Pakistan would dominate in the 60s and the 70s, while India hockey was on the wane. But the 1956 triumph in Melbourne was the first instance, you must remember, of India versus Pakistan on the world stage. And fittingly, India won, hockey won, and the world was dazzled. 1956 Melbourne would forever be remembered for the first India versus Pakistan match, but it ensured that India's talent pool and depth would be simply awesome. Thank you for watching this special episode of SportsLumo's 50 Greatest Olympic Moments for India, folks. In the next episode, the dominance of India hockey continues, this time in Helsinki 1952. But the teams would not be a major deterrent to India. It would be the weather. How India tackled the weather and the conditions in 1952. That is all in the upcoming episode. Press the subscribe button. Tap the bell icon. Like, comment and share, folks. 50 Greatest Olympic Moments for India in the Olympics is a glorious tribute to 93 years of our representation. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.